Alright, you guys, today we are going to start off by doing algebraic expressions. It's all review from Algebra 1, so nothing should be too complicated. We'll start off with some word phrases, but before we do the word phrases, we have to focus on some main words in math like sum, difference, product, and quotient. Alright, obviously most of you guys know that the sum just means you're going to add some things. The difference is going to be subtraction. And the product is obviously multiplication. But a lot of times people forget what the quotient means. So the quotient is when you divide, obviously. Alright? Alright, let's go ahead and do some examples. Write the expression for the following. So I will give you some English phrases and I'm going to ask you to translate them to math symbols. So for example, the product of 2 and the sum of m and 4. So we're trying to look for some key words. There's product. That probably means you're going to multiply a few things together. And then sum, you're going to add some things together. Alright? So what are you going to add? It looks like you're going to add m and 4 together. And then what are you going to multiply? It looks like you're going to multiply 2 and this whole thing. Here it is. The sum, the product, which is 2 times the sum of m and 4. Here's another example. 7 less than a number. I'm actually going to give you 3 examples right now. Alright. You have 3 different things that are very similar. The first one says 7 less than a number x. The next one is 7 minus a number x. And then the third one is the difference between 7 and a number x. And I know that my face is in the way of finishing that sentence. But basically, all 3 are kind of the same. But we have to be careful when it's subtraction. Because subtraction, the order of subtraction does matter. For example, the first one, 7 less than a number x. How is that going to be different from 7 minus a number x? There it is. You're going to have exactly the way that's written for this one, 7 minus x. But then the top one, 7 less than a number x, is going to be written so that the x comes first and then the 7 afterwards, and that's important. What do you think this third one's going to be? The difference of between 7 and a number x. It's like the first one, 7, x minus 7. Alright, and then one more example, finish this off. The quotient between 4 plus n and 9. And I'm pretty sure the answer is behind my face, so I'll write it up here. The quotient means divide, so 4 plus n, and then divide by 9. And that's it. Changing English sentences to math phrases. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and do some substitutions. So I am going to give you some variables and what they're equal to. X is equal to -6 and y is equal to 2. Then I'm going to give you an expression. And all you have to do is substitute the correct numbers into the correct letters. Alright, so every time you see an x, you're going to replace it with a -6. And every time you see a y, you're going to replace it with a 2. There it is. I just replace every single x with -6 and every single y with 2. And then I just have to simplify. 4 times -6 is -24. 7 times 2 is 14. This part you have to be careful. Put a big star next to it. A negative with the negative makes it a positive. That's very important. A lot of people forget it or might be confused by it, but please don't forget. That becomes a positive 6. This is just a 2 times 2, which is 4, and then a 5 times 2, which is 10. Alright, from here, we just add and subtract to get 10. Not bad, not bad. Here's another one. This is an example where exponents are involved, but you still do it the same way. Whenever you see an x, you substitute in the -6, and wherever you see a y, you substitute in a 2. There's what I've done. Make sure you put parentheses around it so that when you do this, -6 squared, if you forget to put parentheses in your calculator, it is not going to give you the correct answer. So make sure you're used to using parentheses. -6 squared. All right, -6 times -6 is 36. And if you forget to put the parentheses, it'll give you a -36, which is incorrect. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and evaluate this inside the parentheses. -6 minus 2 is -8. Square that. You get 64. Add them together, and we have 100. Let's go and do another example. Notice this also has an exponent, but then the variable is in the exponent spot, which is not too bad. Substitute a 2 in for that y. You have to remember order of operations. Exponent comes first, so you have to do this first. 2.5 squared first, and that's 6.25. I'll erase that a little bit. And then you multiply the 4,000 last. The answer is 25,000. Okay, it's just substituting numbers into letters. Not too bad. Alright, and the last thing we're going to do is CLT. If you remember from Algebra 1, CLT just stands for combining like terms. Let's go ahead and combine some like terms. Let's go ahead and simplify this first. You have to distribute this -2 in. Again, be very careful with that negative sign or that minus sign. You have to distribute it in. Once you do that, you have a -8 and a +12. Okay. From there, we're going to combine the m's together. 0.75 m minus an 8m is -7.25 m plus 12. Let's do one with some fractions in it, because fractions aren't always the easiest thing to do, but we do it the same way. Let's go ahead and distribute that 1/2 in there, and then distribute the -5/2 in. Again, be careful with this negative sign. There it is. 1/2 x squared minus 1/2 y squared, and then minus 5/2 x squared, and then a plus 5/2 y squared. And then from here you just combine all the x squares together. This one with this one. Again, include that negative there. And then you're going to combine the y squares together. This one with this one. And again, when you add or subtract fractions, the denominators have to be the same. Fortunately, in this problem, all the denominators are the same, so you can just go ahead and add or subtract the tops, the numerators. The x squares turn out to be negative 4 over 2x squared, and then the y squared is 4 over 2. Always, always, always reduce your fractions, and there is our final answer. All right, that's all we have for today. Just 4 short slides. Hopefully you won't have too much problem doing the homework. All right, see ya.